Money Heist, Korea, Joint Economic Area. Yes, that's the full name of this TV show. It's a brand new South Korean TV show that just came to Netflix, and I've had my eye on it for quite a while. Ever since I reacted to the trailer on this channel, I've been looking forward to the show a lot. Not only because the trailer looked really good and thrilling and engaging and intense and just fun to watch, but because South Korean projects on Netflix are very rarely bad. Anyway, I just watched the very first 2 episodes and I'm going to give you my thoughts about it. But before I do, just know that there's going to be some spoilers in this. So if you haven't watched it, I do recommend that you go watch it and then you come back and watch this. Also, I'm just going to give you my quick thoughts. I'm not going to go into too much detail. And this show is technically, from what I've read, technically a remake of the Spanish version of Money Heist, which is also by Netflix, as far as I'm aware. I have not watched that. So all my thoughts about this are 100% based on this show on its own, not how it works as a remake. Anyway, Money Heist Episode 1 begins, in my opinion, very by-the-numbers heist thriller, if that makes any sense. We get the team getting together, getting to know each other, choosing their names, and then going about their mission. Their mission is to break into the mint where the money is printed, and they want to print $4 trillion, all while having hostages and all while dealing with the authorities that are on the outside. It starts very, very by the numbers, but as it progresses, and especially when you go into episode 2, that's when you really get the character moments. You really get the character development. You really get to feel the tension. For example, this show uses flashbacks a lot. Flashbacks in order to let you know each individual character's motivations, their reason for doing what they're doing, why they put themselves in this situation. And that was one of my flaws for about the first, maybe 40 minutes of episode 1, is that it didn't really feel like I cared about any of the characters. And I want to care about characters whenever I watched heist thrillers because you want to care about them. You want to know their motivations. Again, you want to know their goals, and you want to care if they live or they die or the choices they make. And we didn't really get that in the first bit of the first episode, but that was for a reason. And like I just mentioned, they use flashbacks a lot. For example, in the very beginning of the first episode, we get to learn about the main girl, I want to call her. She's not really the main character, especially in episode 2, but in the first episode, she comes across very much as the main character. We learn that she used to be a soldier, that she fled, and now she's, joined this team. And then in the second episode, we get to learn about Berlin. Berlin is not the leader of the group. He's not the leader of the robbers, but he is very much the leader on the ground. He's the leader in the mint that's in control of everything. In the second episode, we learn about his backstory, and again, that just made his character that much better. And he was one of my favorite characters even before that. And I really, really like that this show does that. I have a feeling each episode we're going to sort of see a flashback giving the motivations of each character, which I think is going to make watching this show through a second time even better. I really, really like watching things second times. So I have a feeling that, again, when we get to see more flashbacks, when we get to see more of the motivations for the characters and why they're going into this mission in the first place, and then you can go back and then you can sort of put that in place and, again, make the second viewing that much better. In my opinion, the second episode is where this show really came into its own. The first episode was good, don't get me wrong, but the second episode is when we really, really started to feel the tension, not only between, the robbers and their hostages and the robbers and the authorities outside, but between the robbers and each other. Well, there's this one character named Denver, and he starts to feel for this hostage. Not feel in a romantic way, but he sort of looks out for her because she claims to be pregnant, but the person who is the father, it treats her like shit and doesn't really care about her, and he sort of stands up for her, which I think is really, really cool. And then he finds out, or all the robbers find out, that girl has a watch, that she is the one that activated the watch and gave the authorities a peek in, and Berlin orders her to be executed, and he orders Denver to do this. And it's just a very cool thing that I like to see, because one, Berlin is going against the orders of the professor, who is the leader of everything, but also Denver is forced to feel conflicting emotions because he sort of, again, cared for this character and then he's forced to execute her. And that's how the second episode ends, is that Denver pulls the trigger, though we do not see her die. So going into the third episode, she might still be alive. I don't know. I've only watched the first 2. Everything that goes on inside the mint is engaging and is thrilling, like you would expect. I mean, it's a heist thriller. There's never a dull moment. There's always tension. There's always character drama. There's frequently some action, but believe it or not, that's not my favorite thing about this show. My favorite thing, the thing that has me engaged the most, believe it or not, is the stuff that's happening outside of the Mint, that's happening outside of the main plot. And that is a plot that involves the professor, who is the leader of the robbers, the one who's planning everything, and the inspector lady, as she keeps being referred to as the inspector, who, by the way, is played by Sun from Lost, which I think is really cool. The professor is planning everything, and he's in an unknown, undisclosed location, and he keeps calling into the authorities, and the authorities keep calling him. And it's like almost like a game of mental cat and mouse, where the professor feels like he's in this place of authority, where he feels like he has everything planned, everything under control, where the inspector is sort of like trying to pick away at him, trying to get any information that she can that can help her get these hostages out to safety. But the really cool thing, and something that I didn't expect, it was a twist that really surprised me, was that the inspector and the professor actually have a relationship outside of what they're doing. They're dating. They've seen each other a couple times. Of course, the professor knows this, but the inspector does not. So that just adds another layer of drama that I really enjoy. Anyway, that's my quick thoughts on episodes 1 and 2 of Money Heist, Korea, Joint Economic Area. If you've seen it, let me know what you think. Let me know, like, in detail if you've watched the first 2 episodes and what you thought of those. And, let me know vaguely what you thought about the overall show if you've already finished it, though please don't spoil it for me. If you like this video, consider subscribing. I do TV show discussions, movie discussions, trailer reactions, the occasional video game video, just that sort of thing. I talk about physical media every now and then. Just lots of fun stuff happening on this channel. So if you're at all interested, consider subscribing. Anyway, thank you for watching.